Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to my channel. This is Brownsugar Commentary, and I'm your girl, Kayla. If you're new here, make sure to subscribe for more videos about Black entertainment, Black womanhood, and whatever else I feel like talking about this week. All right, let's get right into it. As y'all can tell, I'm a little emotional today because we have come to the end of the road. Alexa, cue the music. Okay, cue the Boys to Men, because this is my final episode recap and review of season 5. And essentially the series finale of the wonderful HBO original show Insecure. Okay, this episode was called, I believe, Everything's Okay, Okay. I think that's what it's called. Everything's gonna be okay, something like that. I'm not really gonna do like my usual like recap for real. What I'm going to do for this video is not 1,000 years long. Is talk about the things I loved about the finale, and then talk about the things I didn't necessarily like about the finale, and then my overall thoughts of Insecure, um, season 5 and the show as a whole. So let's talk about what I did like. So what I liked, obviously, wardrobe and hair ate down per usual, especially where Issa's concerned. Like, we came such a long way from season 1. And that's not to say Issa has not always looked good. It's just saying, like, the way that her style evolved with who she was and how she's matured over the years, her fashion choices has definitely followed suit. Especially like that last frame with her in that red. Oh my god, so vibrant. It complemented her skin tone so freaking well. Somebody compared it to how what Gabrielle Union wore in one of that like infamous scene in Deliverance from Eva, and I was like, yes, it's definitely giving that, and I'm here for it 1000%. All the little blazers and the suits, like it was just giving boss lady energy, was 1000% here for it. Okay, and of course Issa is dubbed the natural hair queen. One of the reasons why I loved this show so much was because it was the first show I felt that I seen a woman with 4C hair just rocked so effortlessly. Like, it wasn't a big thing. It was just so natural and effortless. And she just showed like literally every protective style, every style you could have as a natural girly. And especially this season, it was giving scene after scene after scene. Like, it was just amazing. I lived every moment. Another person's hair I loved was Kelly. Like, Kelly's hair is another one that always has looked good, but definitely this season, like the scene where it's her birthday dinner and she has like the side like ponytail, giving, completely giving. The only thing, and I did love the fact with Molly's short haircut, and I'm kind of glad that they didn't make a big deal about Molly like rocking her like short natural hair, because as we know, Molly has always worn like wigs and stuff like that, and then she just stopped wearing wigs. And like, I love that that was not such a big deal. While yes, the big chop is a big, can be like a big monumental change in a Black woman's life, I just love that it just felt natural and real. They could have went with that storyline, considering I feel like Molly would be a character very heavily attached to her hair, but it is also good that they didn't make such a big deal of it. I feel like a lot of shows and movies do that a lot, and it's like sometimes a haircut is just that, like it's just a haircut. They did give her that little mop looking wig in one of them scenes, but she was going through some grief, so we're gonna allow it. Okay, also Tiffany had a little bit of a questionable wig in one of them scenes. I don't know what that was about, but we move. Okay, moving right along, other things that I loved, of course, was Molly's wedding scene. It was beautiful, it was gorgeous. Molly looks good. The girls look good. I love the red. I love that it took place like overseas in Europe. That's such a Molly thing to do. And of course, I'm glad that Molly found her forever person. Molly deserved. Molly really stepped up, matured, put the work in, learned from her, past mistakes, and really moved in a genuine and good way, both in her friendships and romantic relationships. It's really unfortunate her mother really never got to see it, because her mother, more than anyone else, wanted her to get married. But I'm just glad that she was able to find that person for her. And so I loved it. I also loved the scene with her and Issa helping her take off her dress, and they kind of, have a really emotional and raw moment. And I mean, they've always made it very clear that the true love story and the core of Insecure is Molly and Issa. And so to see them come so far this season, especially where we were last season, where we were very unsure where these two were going to go, it is just great to see them at the healthiest and happiest they've ever been in their friendship, and so solid. I don't even think Molly probably would have been able to go through her grief process if her and Issa were not good. So I'm really happy that above all else, these two really got it together and were able to maintain their friendship. And that is something that is very hard to do as a adult, okay? And I'm also glad with all the scene changes and montages that they showed that like sometimes you wish and you want all your friends to be there 24/7, or like, for your big moments, but life happens and it's not always possible. And so like even when you see Kelly's birthday and like Molly wasn't there, like it's no shade to Kelly, of course, but of course if somebody mama just died, I would not be going nowhere either. Like that's just life. So I do love that aspect of it. Like they made it seem real for that. I've also just loved the four women friendship dynamic. A lot of these men on social media like to sit there and crap on shows about women. Like I remember somebody say, "Well, how many shows about four women do we need?" And I'm like, as much as they're willing to make. I feel like it's still not enough, considering that we had 10 years where there was absolutely no shows about Black women and Black sisterhood and stuff like that. Like, there's so many ways you can tell that story, and I feel like Insecure did it in such a real way, in such a, like I said, like a way that just felt right. Like one thing I will always cherish and love about Insecure, especially compared to these new age shows that want to be blackity black, black and for the people and by the people, is that Insecure never tried to be anything but insecure. Like it never tried to hit on certain like topical things. Like yes, sometimes things happen that happen to be hot topics within the community, but it never felt forced. Like it just naturally progressed that way. It never tried to do something or force a certain storyline just to fit whatever's going on at the time in the world. Also, the dialogue never felt forced. It never felt corny. It never felt weird. Like it felt like these were real people. Like we all know someone that acts like maybe a Lawrence or even a Molly or even a Issa. Like these characters felt like real people, and that's what made them all the more easy to get attached to and root for or not root for. Like it's just, it felt like this black show that didn't have to tell us that it was a black show. Kind of what made those shows in the 90s and early 2000s special, because they weren't forcing us to say this is what you should like because you're black and there's black people in the show. You get what I'm saying? Like Insecure never tried ever. Okay, so that is one thing I will always love this show for, hands down. Other things that I loved about this finale, I mean, I love the fact that in terms of career, Issa chose herself at the end of the day. I feel like once again to see Issa's journey from season one at We Got Y'all on the struggle bus, with the microaggressions and her just really feeling like, what the hell is she doing with her life? To being sure of herself, being sure of what she wants to do, being a boss lady, okay? Once again, love to see it. Period. Like we love it for my girl Issa D. That's all I care about at the end of the day. And so to see her, especially watching like the last moments of the show, and her just driving through certain moments in her life, certain monuments from the dunes to the Best Buy, even seeing the one neighbor guy, the blood guy, and his daughter, and seeing her grown up, and seeing her drive past We Gotcha, like all these just monumental moments in her life that really shaped who she has become. It is just amazing, and I just love that cute little subtle nod that they had there. I loved The fact that at the very last scene, we start with Issa in the mirror, we end with Issa in the mirror, and now there's no more mirror, bitch, okay? She is secure, okay? And that is the most refreshing thing to see. And the growth, like I said, Issa's biggest thing, and a lot of the characters' thing was that they were insecure, second guessing themselves all the time, always overthinking it. And finally, Issa has made decisions in her life where she feels 100% secure of, and they make sense for her. Do I agree with all these decisions? No. But I'm 100%, like I said, Team Issa at the end of the day. Whatever Issa wants, that is okay. Okay? Um, and of course, the last thing I loved about this season is the music. Of course, they had one of my favorite songs of the year, Yebba's Distance. I love me some Yebba, okay? And I love that song. Do I love the scene that it was in? Not necessarily, but okay. Neither here nor there. One thing about Miss Issa, she know what a good music lies. So much good music has been discovered and artists have been discovered because of this amazing show. And that is one thing I will appreciate more than anything else, okay? Soundtrack always slaps, soundtrack always giving, and it did it right down to the very last second. The fact that Jocelyn's Do It Like a Joby Day was in this episode cracked me up so freaking much. I also love that we ended on I'm a Bossy by Khalees. And I feel like that's funny because people always compare the whole Lawrence, Condola, and Issa situation to Melanie, Derwin, and Janae on The Game. And the funny thing is, the first couple of seasons of The Games, Melanie's ringtone was that song. So I just find that to be so funny how like those two shows kind of like intertwine in that way. And of course, we got to go back to Broken Pussy. Like, what a time to be alive, right? Obviously, it ain't broke no more. Okay, it's broken for a different reason now, Miss Molly, and we love to see it. So yeah, I just love that. And of course, it's always beautifully, visibly shot. You know, especially this season, just felt so cinematic. Just it's just this the camera work is always amazing, always good, always giving, always here for it. Okay. And yeah, I think that's mostly what I loved about this season, and this season and this series finale. Now let's get to some things I wasn't 100% a fan of. Now, of course, y'all know I was Team Nathan from day one, and I already knew that Nathan, it wasn't going, especially not after that fight. You know, Nathan did end up breaking it off with Issa and choosing himself, and I'm happy for him for that because I do think that Issa would have dragged this relationship to the very end despite her not being happy in it. Just to say she was in a relationship with someone, I do think that she would have never broken up with Nathan, or she would have did it when it was way too late. Like, she was literally about to get a place with this man had the situation with Lawrence never happened. And so I'm glad that Nathan finally said, it ain't given. But knowing that, I do think, especially the way the last episode went, and because we did so much time jumps, I do think that we did waste a lot of time this season with Nathan, considering that she never ends up with Nathan. I do think, yes, Nathan could have gotten an episode by, or even if they got back together, it should have just been for an episode or two. The fact that they were together for a good second half of this season and like two or three of the episodes of this season was the build up to Nathan, that was a whole lot of time wasted essentially, because at the end of the day it did not matter because Nathan is a blip in Issa's entire, universe. I'm not mad at it because I love me some Nathan, but I do think now, knowing how everything turned out, it kind of felt like a waste of time, spending so much time on that relationship and Nathan as a character, like where we could have spent that time elsewhere. Of course, I told y'all the biggest thing I'll ever have with Insecure is not giving Kelly her things. Now, I will say this season gave her the most we've probably get of Kelly for the past 5 seasons. I will give her that. And I do understand that she's a side character because, I was in a couple of Twitter space rooms last night seeing the conversations and saying, well, at the end of the day, Kelly probably got more than most side characters in shows get. But at the same time, like I said, given that this show was so groundbreaking in giving voices to a certain type of Black people. You know, Black fat women don't get much on television, as if not ever. And I feel like Kelly is just so dope and revolutionary. Like I said, it's a big testament to Natasha Rockwell, who plays her. I do think what I would have loved, especially seeing what we see in the finale with her finding true love and becoming a mother, I really would have loved to see more of that progression, because we did see bits and pieces here and there, but I just really wish at the very least that Kelly would have gotten her own episode this season. Just an episode. Like, I just would have loved to see a day-to-day what it's like to be Kelly. Is that confidence real? Is it fake? Is she putting it on? What is her true, you know, like even her thing, like the way she thinks about guys and men, like all of that stuff. I just would have loved to see things from Kelly's perspective just a little bit. Especially, like I said, even Tiffany got her whole postpartum storyline. So it just would have made more sense for me to see more of Kelly. Like, I don't know. I do know that she, like Natasha, will be getting her own show. It's not going to be as Kelly, but it's going to be as something. And I know her career is just going to completely take off after this, which is one of the things I will always love this show for, introducing us to such amazing, dope, you know, actors and actresses. But I just, like I said, I really wish that Kelly got more. That's all. Like I said, I'm glad that it worked out for her. Like, her career was, you know, she got to do her own thing. She grew closer with Molly and Issa. It felt like I said, she found love. All of that. She learned not to be so like dependent on Tiffany and whatever. Also, I do wish Tiffany got some more time in terms of how her dealing with postpartum and moving away. Like I just said, like things just happened so quick that I wish we got to see a little bit of that too, because it felt like her and Derek are always on the cusp of divorce. Like, they feel like them people that, yeah, they look like things are together, but they always like one argument away from divorce. And I would have loved to see that too, because people need to see that that's realistic. I feel, you know, like sometimes, you know, everything ain't what it seems, and I just feel like something is always like on the cusp with them too. Like, and like I said, I wish I would have loved. So T, to me, given that, what I think what we could have done is, instead of focusing a lot on, like I said, the Nathan thing and even the Crenshaw thing, because I feel like also it didn't really make sense. Like, Crenshaw's character essentially really didn't mean much of anything in the end of all of this. I do think what they could have done is just kind of create this whole season, like still about the choices thing, but maybe just make every episode around birthdays, because that was their whole thing. They started the show with Issa's birthday and that whole like her existential crisis with turning 30 and all of that. And I would have just liked to see if we just went through maybe even Issa's birthdays throughout the years, or everyone's birthday. Like, I wish that everyone got their own episode. At least like the main people, like Lawrence could get one, Kelly, Molly, and Tiffany could all just get an episode about their birthday evolution throughout like maybe the next couple, like maybe 5 years or so, and like do it that way, if that makes any sense. If the whole season just surrounded birthdays every, like, yeah, it might get repetitive, so maybe not all 10, but maybe those last 5 episodes, I feel like that would have given us each the most like in-depth about each character, and kind of wrap up their arc in a decent bow. Like, spend the first 5 episodes kind of doing what they did, but then really getting to each character those last 5 episodes. You know what I mean? That would have, I would have thought that, because like a lot of people said like they would have wished that we got to see this more fleshed out throughout the season, because it just felt like everyone was just kind of rushing through those that last episode. And even though we got like 10 more minutes, which is more than obviously everything, but I do think that we could have done that instead of focusing so much on the Crenshaw thing and so much on the Nathan thing. I think we kind of wasted some time with that, honestly. I mean, at the end of the day, series finales, and of course, Y'all already know I was not here for her choosing Lawrence at the end. Like, it's no shade to Lawrence. I do think, like I said, Issa Rae has amazing chemistry with Jay Ellis. Even though I do think, like, that scene where they got back together at her thing was super awkward. And I mean, that's just because Issa's character is awkward. But I just feel like it didn't have that spark that I seen that closure episode. I don't know if it was just me. It just felt hella forced. And that's just me. Like I said, to me, I just don't like about how a lot of these shows do this, like that one that got away storyline, or like the ex that I keep going back to, like that type of thing. Cause yeah, that's some people's story, but like some people's exes is toxic, and people will take this show and be like, oh, that's my situation. I need to get back with that man. No, because I think Issa and Lawrence are very toxic for one another. Like I said, yes, they grew in their own ways, but I don't feel like they grew enough to be together at all. Like, I don't see the growth, and I don't understand what everyone's rooting for so hard, because like I said, we have truly never seen these two together, ever. Because in the beginning, they were miserable on the struggle bus, okay? Then they broke up, and then they were doing a lot of passive aggressive, like makeup sex, and the angriness, and the bitterness, and the resentment. And then they get together for 2 seconds, and then this man got this woman pregnant, and then they broke up at the beginning of the season, and then this man waited a whole year to confess his feelings, and then this woman, decides to hit him up after, like, because she was, drunk and high with her friends, and she's like, why the hell not? And that's what just feel like it's just like an afterthought these two are to each other. Like, y'all don't ever really want to be with each other until some like everything else falls apart. Like, that's just what it feels like to me. Like I said, I would have just loved Issa to choose herself, because I feel like it's seldom that we see women just choose themselves. Like, it is okay to be alone. I'm not saying alone forever, but it just for now. Because once again, Lawrence is a character that really never got to be alone. Like, he was always with somebody. Like, even when Issa calls him in the episode where the part of this thing where it's his birthday, and he already with this girl that he literally obviously didn't give two craps about this girl, because by whatever, how many times it passed, he's back with Issa again. So it's just like, he don't know that man he don't know how to be by himself ever. Somebody had a nerve to really call Issa ran through. I was like, have you seen the way Lawrence be going in this life? Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? Neither here nor there. But like I said, I just feel like, I've never seen them around each other enough, like truly together in a healthy platonic relationship for me to truly root for them. And like I said, it's cute to say, like, she got her man back after all of this, but like I said, to me, it's not giving. Like I said, I'm not here for it. Not to say people shouldn't get back with their ex. Like, if the heart wants what it wants, and I know that Issa is her happiest with with Lawrence, but I think that it's just not. I don't care. It's not going. Like I said, I knew that it wasn't going to be Nathan either, but I would have loved to see her with a whole new man, or not that man that was bootleg Daniel, not that one. But you know what I mean? Like, someone that she really just vibed with, no past no past situation with, just a brand new man, new life, all of it. I just would have loved to see it, but it was cute. I do love the fact that, she seems to have a great relationship with Lawrence's child. And he seemed, like, that's really cute. I love the fact that, he did put a ring on it, so good for, I don't know if they're engaged or married, but she did have an engagement ring on in that last scene, so it's giving. I don't care. But all in all, it's really hard to do a final season and make sure that everyone's satisfied, because people are going to talk either way. What I don't like about this is a lot of people saying that they hated this season. This season was so bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, it's not bad. Some of the episodes to me were some of the best of the series. Like, I feel like the episode with the whole Nathan drama and stuff, hilarious. I like the very first episode, I think, of the season was very good to me. The episode, even where, like, just the Issa and Molly showing up for each other when Molly Molly, what's it called? When her mother first got the stroke, I like that episode. I do also like the episode where all the girls are hanging out that one last time. So there are some great episodes this season. I think a lot of people confuse Insecure to be like mess all the time, and like it's not giving. The show has never gave that vibe ever, like literally ever. We might have a big blowout once a season, but like to act like it needs to be jam packed every single episode, like it was never that. Like never ever was a season like that in this show ever. Like I said, were there some like slower moving episodes compared to other seasons? For sure. But to sit there and act like it sucked, like it didn't suck. I enjoyed myself for the most part of this season, like regardless. Like I said, this finale was not my favorite season finale or series finale, but like I said, it's very rare to get that. Like there are very few shows that I feel like has a completely satisfying conclusion, so it's okay. What I will say is I am forever grateful to Miss Issa Rae. I'll say it until I'm blue in the face. This show was a show that she made herself, and she started literally from the bottom and came here. And you know, she got to have her show and be starring in it and put all these amazing, wonderful people on that we probably would have never known otherwise. And we got to see a dark skin made like lead. I'm glad that she advocated for herself, because like I told y'all before in my other video earlier this year about how they wanted, like, they're pitching other different actresses that looked absolutely nothing like her, and she really sat there and said, no ma'am. Okay. I love the fact, like I said, she really did it for us awkward black girls, because not every black girl is 100% perfect. Not every black girl has everything together. And even the fact that this took place and all these characters were in their 30s, I love that for us, because I think nowadays with social media, we are told that we're supposed to have it all by like 22, child. Okay. And that's simply not true. It is okay to start your career at 30 or 40 or even freaking 50, goddamn it. Like, it is okay. It's okay to evolve as many times as you need to. It's okay to be a hot mess expressed sometimes. It's okay to mess up. Like, this show really gave us that. If it gave us nothing else, like, it just gave us that confirmation that everything is gonna be okay. Okay, like, literally, I feel like this show was like the biggest love letter to black culture and black people. And like I said, without it being, this is a black show and it's for us by us, like, it just did it without even trying. And I love that. And like I said, I love me some Issa down. Nothing but great things for my queen. I will stand Issa forever for this show alone, okay? And just simply being herself. And it is essentially what got her here. And it was just such a great ride, like literally such a great ride, between the actual show itself and the discourse on Twitter every week. Like when we saw that episode, when Lawrence left that Best Buy shirt in that closet, and the next scene with him giving back shots, okay, to Bank Teller Girl, will forever be the wildest, craziest moment on the TL, okay? And I lived so much funny Twitter moments, like, and it just started such great conversation. I feel like we really never sat down and watched a TV show the way we did with Insecure. Like, I loved every second of it. And like I told y'all, I will miss this show. This is my favorite freaking show of like the past decade. I feel like I loved this show so much. I love these characters so much. I love the journey, like all of it. I lived every second, minute, hour, honey. Like, it gave me life every Sunday for 30 minutes, okay? It was the best thing ever. And I'm so happy and so grateful for Issa Rae and what she did on this show, as well as obviously like Yvonne Orji, like I said, Natasha Rothwell, Jay Ellis, every freaking body, okay? Everybody. Even Amanda Seals. I know you don't like her, but I like what she did on this show, at least. Yeah. It really sucks, but I'm glad. And I'm also glad this show got to end on Issa's terms. She wanted it to be 5 seasons, and that's what it was. Because so many of our favorite sitcoms never got to have a proper ending, never got to have a good send off like this show got. Because of, obviously they didn't have the control that Issa Rae had. So I'm just happy it didn't get canceled in a season. It got its full, 5 seasons, and we got to really get to know these characters and live with these characters for all this time. Like I said, it's just amazing. Like I really am gonna miss this show. But yeah, I believe those are all my thoughts for season 5 and Insecure. It has been a journey, and I'm really glad that I got to sit down and recap it with y'all. I'm glad I got to stick it through for all 10 episodes. But yeah, y'all let me know everything what y'all thought about the finale. Did y'all like it? Did y'all love it? Did you hate it? What are your thoughts on this season? Like, what do you think about Insecure as a show? Did you love this show? Is it one of your faves? Did you hate it? Who are your favorite characters? Are you happy about the way they end up? What do you think about, given what we know about how the show ended? If you were to say like 5 years from now, like where do you think all these characters are, Let me know all your thoughts, grievances, opinions down in the comments below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll definitely see y'all in my next video. Peace out, y'all.